Hello and welcome to Adam About. Today I'm going to be making a video about how to use chemicals in a hot tub. That doesn't matter whether you've got an inflatable hot tub or a permanent one, it's all exactly the same kind of treatment. I'm going to be talking about the initial setup and ongoing maintenance for how to use your chemicals. So if you're brand new to hot tubs or just want to find out a little bit more about how to maintain day to day, this is the video for you. If you're brand new to hot tubs, I recommend getting a starter kit like this one from Clearwater. It includes test strips, chlorine and chemicals for maintaining the pH level. This gives you everything you need to get started, and as you use more of these chemicals you can decide which ones you need to buy additional amounts of. The first thing I'm going to go through is these test strips. These are dipped into the water and tell you what the current state of the water is and what you need to do to treat it. If you understand these, you know exactly what to do with your water at any given time. The strips test three different aspects of the water. Firstly, they look at the chlorine levels. Secondly, they look at the pH levels, and finally they look at the total alkalinity of the water. All three of these are important to get balanced. The strips themselves look like this. They've got three small squares on it, and what you do is you dip it into the water for just one brief second and then you wait 15 seconds before you analyse the results. The way that you use the strips is you look at the three different colours here and see how they compare against these panels on the back of the tub that the strips came in. They allow you to look at the amount of free chlorine, the pH level and the total alkalinity. When you're maintaining your hot tub, there's a priority order that you need to look at. The first thing to get right is the amount of chlorine in the water. Once you've got that at the appropriate level, the second thing to look at is the total alkalinity. Finally, once you've got the total alkalinity sorted out, you start to have a look at the pH levels. It's best to work in that order. One final point on these test strips is it's really important to keep them dry. Put the lid back on the tub when you've finished with them and make sure you don't get them damp at all. When you're using them, take the lid off, take one out, close the lid quickly and then just use the one strip that you've got. When you first fill your hot tub, what you need to do is shock the water. That's a phrase meaning that you're just going to put quite a lot of chlorine in it in order to get the levels right in the very first instance. The best way to shock the water is to use something like these chlorine granules. For a hot tub of my size, which is about 800 litres, I add 4 teaspoons of the granules just as I'm filling it up. What I then do is bring the temperature up to a minimum of 20 degrees centigrade and mix the water a little bit by running the jets or the bubbles. Once you've done this, wait 2 hours for the chlorine to mix with the water. Then test it with your strips. If the strips tell you that you need to add more, just add 1 teaspoon at a time. Between each teaspoon, make sure you wait at least a couple of hours for the chemicals to mix properly before testing again. Keep on adding more chlorine until the test strips tell that you've got the amount right. Once you've got the chlorine levels right, you can then start to have a look at the other chemicals. Carry on watching this video to see how to do that. Chlorine's probably the most important chemical in your hot tub. It's what keeps the water nice and clean. What you tend to find is that the level drops over time, particularly after use, so it's a constant job to keep this topped up. There are two different ways you can top up the chlorine levels. Number one is to add chlorine granules that came in your starter kit. Probably only need to add 1 teaspoon after each use or every few days. The important thing is to use your strips. Keep an eye on it. Whenever it looks like it's getting low, then add some more. The other way to maintain chlorine levels is use tablets. I've got some here from Clearwater. They're sort of large blue tablets, and what you do is you drop them into a dispenser. So my hot tub came with a float a little bit like this. You simply pop the tablets in the top of here and then put this into the hot tub and it floats there. What that does is slowly dispenses the chlorine over time and maintains the level. It's important to remember to take this float out when you use the hot tub. I personally find using the tablets and using the tablet dispenser a little bit easier than using the chlorine granules every day. You can just keep this in the water, and over time you can learn how much you need to open or close the adjuster on here to keep the levels right. It's not the end of the world if you put too much chlorine in, but ideally you want to keep the levels at the right level. I certainly wouldn't let it drop low, or the water will start to discolour and get slimy, and that's the last thing you want. Once you've got the chlorine levels right in your hot tub, the next thing to move on to is the total alkalinity. The total alkalinity helps control the pH level and makes it easier to keep the pH level correct. The chemical that you use is the pH Plus that came in your starter kit. You need to keep on adding that until the strips tell you that you've got the total alkalinity at the correct level. For now, don't worry about the fact that this is also going to increase the pH beyond an acceptable level. You can deal with that afterwards. Where I live, the water's quite soft, and I find that the total alkalinity is always very low when I first put the water in. To help me with this, I got some specific alkalinity builder, and it's just a little bit more effective. Added in exactly the same way, just a teaspoon in with the water. Keep on adding this until the strips tell you that you've got it at the correct level. Finally, once you've got the chlorine levels correct and the total alkalinity at the right level, you need to fix the pH. Typically what I find, because I've added quite a lot of pH plus to get the total alkalinity correct, I then have to add pH minus to get the pH levels correct. Now the clever thing is that when you add the pH minus, it reduces the pH level, but it doesn't reduce the total alkalinity level. You may find with your water you still need to put some additional pH plus in, so just keep on going until you get the pH plus correct. So that's it. Those are the three things that the strips tell you about, and the three things you need to get right to maintain good quality water. I would recommend testing the water every morning after you've used it the day before to make sure you've got the correct levels. Always try to add the chemicals when the water is at least 20 degrees C, and always wait a couple of hours after that before you check the water again to see the impact that you've had from the chemicals that you add. If you own a hot tub and you've got any questions or queries, please put them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them as best I can. If I get enough questions on one particular topic, then I'll make another video to explain that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've learned something today about using chemicals in your hot tub. If you'd like to see more videos of this nature, then please subscribe to my channel.